Very good, very good.
Super.
You are staying in Hyderabad or you are from Hyderabad?
I am from Hyderabad, sir.
The reason I asked is I am also from Hyderabad.
Ah, how nice. Now I feel more familiarity. So, if I may request you to slightly tilt your camera downwards, very slightly. Yes, that's perfect. That should be.
Maybe because of the shade.
Maybe. I'm just Hello, ma'am.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Lakshmi.
Good evening. Unfortunately, I'm unwell, so I'm sounding this way.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Hello,
good
hi,
evening. How are
sir.
you? Yeah, hi. How are you?
Good evening. Good evening. So, shall we begin without much ado?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Super. So, good
Hello.
evening. Sorry.
Yeah. Correct.
Good evening. Welcome to Engineer to Succeed, Career Opportunities in Engineering, presented to you by Sona College of Engineering and Technology in association with EdexLive.com. I am Seema Rajpal and I will be your moderator this evening. Engineering is a field that is constantly buzzing, with innovative ideas and optimistic opportunities, smart students who are just waiting to define their own success. But in a landscape that is continuously shifting, are we ensuring that our next generation is engineered to succeed? Because students are nurtured in a college atmosphere, but when they step out, they need to define their own success. How can educational institutions ensure that they lay a foundation so strong that students are able to accomplish all that they want to? All of these questions and several others will be answered by our esteemed speakers. And let me take a few minutes to introduce them to you. So 24 and counting. That's how many years of experience Lakshmi Toshniwal has in sales, operation, and human resources. She is the head of HR at Titan Engineering and Automation since March 2021. Having so much experience with HR, I am sure that she can spot what the will to succeed actually looks like. Director of AEC Services in V Technologies, Dr. Subrahmanya Sastry, has wide-ranging experience in project management, program management, operations management, and delivery management. But it's not just this, he has handled various departments, many big projects, worked with Fortune 500 companies, authored research articles, and presented research papers. I also found something that's common between us, and we both are from Hyderabad. So, welcome, Dr. Shastri. Students aspiring to be innovators and who have tuned in, you'll be happy to note that Mr. Valliappa, founder, CEO of V Technologies, and vice chairman of Sona Tech, is an entrepreneur through and through. To tackle unemployment and provide skill-based training, he established Sona Yukti, and to bridge the gap between industry and academia, he launched Hire Me, a digital assessment platform. As the vice chairman of Sona College of Engineering and Technology, he has steered the institute to great heights. In fact, Ministry of Human Resources Development has ranked Sona as one of the top 5 private engineering colleges of India. And in the recently ranked NIRF ranking, it bagged the 174th rank. So, from recording classes much before online classes were a thing, and to being the largest college outside Japan to teach Japanese, Sona has done a lot and intends to do a lot more. So indeed, these are very exciting times as the scope of engineering is changing and changing fast. So in times like these, we would like to hear from you first, Mr. Valliappa. As someone who's part of both academia and industry, what is the definition of a successful engineer going by this day and age?
Yeah. Thank you, Seema. Thank you, Lakshmi and Dr. Shastri, for joining us today. I think it's probably the best time to be talking what we are talking today ever in the history, because nowhere is engineering and technology and the convergence of both taking over the world like it has now. I mean, we've seen the Industrial Revolution earlier, and then we saw the IT revolution happening in the 90s and 2000s, and that's how India became the epicenter for the IT hub. And now digital manufacturing, Industry 4.0, and advanced manufacturing, robotic technology, all of that is emerging in the world today. And this requires the convergence of engineering and technology. And it's best suited for countries like India and all of us here to grab the opportunity today, because there is less and less skilled workforce around the world. And India has got this huge, abundant talent of available people and young resources. And this is the best way for us to look at how do we grab this. And I think we are addressing the right audience today with parents and youngsters listening about engineering education. If you were to just look at the digital manufacturing footprint, right? So earlier, if you had to manufacture something and manufacture something, it necessarily had to be done, say, in Detroit, in the US. I'm actually in Chicago right now, just it's 7 a.m. now. But you had to do it literally in the factory, and you had to have how many ever 100 manufacturing people manufacturing that plant. But today, digital manufacturing allows you to do the same thing in, say, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Salem, wherever, and you have that ability to design for the world. And so that's a huge opportunity which is coming up. And that's what Industry 4.0 is all about. And we are very happy that, at Sona, like you rightly said, we've taken up digital education in a much bigger way, much before anybody else did. And this we owe our thanks to Tyagaraja Polytechnic and the Canadians who came in and taught us this, because Canada came and said that we'll share the best practices of education way back in '96. So right from '96, we've been involved in this e-learning form. And now we are embarking in the future of education, which is you and I learn differently, probably, or maybe we are the same, but not more than three people have the same learning styles, because there are three distinctive learning styles. And how do we teach the students? Some learn by seeing, some learn by doing, some learn by thinking. So we are now looking at how do we craft some of these things. So like you alluded to earlier, we said Hire Me was a thing that we wanted to bridge that, and Sona Yukti was to skill it. And we had the opportunity of participating in an American X Prize. I don't know if you heard of the X Prize. The X Prize gives a lot of money for meaningful things. So there was a $5 million prize to rapid reskill people at half the time and get them a 30% increase in salary. And we put our hat in the X Prize for the US. And we were surprised that an Indian company, Hire Me, got picked up to be one of the running people there. And we are actually one of the leaders in that race. And how we found out is through this, to find the right mindset. And once we find the right mindset, play music to them in the sense that we train them on those particular things. And another huge opportunity, which the new education policy is talking about in Indian context, is the focus on research. Not too many colleges are paying attention to research. And I was talking to one of my clients who's an alumni of IIT, Ramesh Mirchandani, last night over dinner. And he says the research work Sona is doing is I can say, is equivalent to IIT. And we were very happy to hear that coming from him, was a veteran. And so that's a huge opportunity for students. I had the privilege of going to ISRO along with our students, because we have a very close relationship with ISRO for the last 10 plus years. We've designed, developed, manufactured rocket motors for ISRO, not just rocket, satellite, navigation, things like that. So the students came up with the idea to build a satellite, and the satellite goes around the world. Every 26 minutes it goes, it clicks a picture and sends it. It's a demonstration satellite, but ISRO took it for free. And it was so exciting to go along with the students and see their excitement there. So that's the opportunity which is there now for students. And we are talking right now as we speak. The Smart India Hackathon is running at Sona. And 36 hours, students from the most brilliant minds from around India are there. And it's great to see them look at the facility and enjoy the infrastructure of Sona. If anybody comes to the Sona library, it's probably one of the state-of-the-art libraries in the world now. And we've done for collaboration to work and brainstorm and those kind of ideas. And a lot of, so this is the opportunity students have, 36 R&D centers to work and learn and understand how technology convergence is working with engineering, those kind of things. But the added advantage is that from the last year, we started seed funding. So a lot of these projects, if their students come in and say that they have an idea, so we actually fund the students to make that into a model and then see it working. And once that happens, we are also an MSME recognized incubator to incubate those companies. And because what India needs today is a lot of jobs, and we've been succeeding with the job front in the last bunch of years now, with the salaries going up so high. And at this time, it will be good for me to say that the proof of the pudding was during COVID, and to see how good the digital infrastructure was. And we were surprised that through COVID, our salaries actually went up. That means the quality of education didn't come down. So again, sticking back with the incubations thing, IIT Chennai is probably India's best incubator. So the combined incubator valuation is about 7,000 crores. So Professor Junjunwala was gracious enough to come in and take other institutions to the next level, because he said, I'm doing what I'm doing in Chennai, but I want to take it to the next level. And he has invited Sona, and Sona has been the first partner for IIT. And it is amazing to see the students actually come up, showcase these ideas. And you would have heard of the Jacquard loom to create designs out of it. So this person has automated that and now is looking at perhaps seeding that at IIT and taking it forward as well. And so these are some of the things that which are exciting today, where be it automation, like what Sastry works on today is BIM engineering, which is again the convergence of mechanical, electrical, civil, and architecture in building information modeling. So another huge thing that we've done this year is the introduction of diplomas. We are the first college in India to introduce diplomas for students who are studying in a normal college. This has been the preview of, say, someone exclusive to BITS Pilani or something like that earlier. So UGC has given this autonomy to us, and we have exercised this autonomy to actually, so you can do a course on mechanical engineering and do a program on Python. You can do data analytics and electrical engineering, or robotic automation and IT or whatever, so this unique mix is available. So I thought I'll just over that 10 minutes of thing, just lay the thing of what we are, and I'm happy to take questions as well. And then thank you, Lakshmi, again for being here, and Sastry for joining us here. Thank you.
Sure.
I would actually like to know from Lakshmi ma'am, are we, when we define successful engineers, do you think the definition that the academia has in mind and the definition that the industry has in mind is the same? Because only when they match will we have really successful students. So what is the industry thinking when they say, this is a successful engineer, this is a successful engineering student, and yes, we want to get him on board, him or
her? See, in the kind of people that typically are hired as freshers, right, is somebody who fundamentally has the right attitude, the ability to learn, and is flexible. For instance, even today, I interviewed somebody with about 5-7 years of experience. They're very fixated about what they want to do, where they see their career going, and they really don't want to explore. Now, what happens is, as you develop, as your career grows, you realize that one most important thing is to be a learner through your life. So, and one of the things that I saw when I was hiring freshers this year is that students, when they are attending interviews, don't have that mindset. So I guess the ability to be able to articulate what is it that they've learned and to be articulate and have that attitude to be a learner all your life, right, is what is going to make for a successful engineer, because your technology is changing every day, right? All of the things that Mr. Valliappa just spoke about, right, which is innovation, robotics, automation, are all areas that have actually evolved over time and are evolving every day. So if you don't have engineers who want to get on the bandwagon and get into being part of that journey, right, then it's not going to make for a successful engineer. So that, I think, is something that academia should work on, to be able to instill that hunger to learn right from the start and to be able to retain that through the career and the life cycle of that. Because if an individual has that, if he or she has that, they're going to become extremely successful in their careers.
That sounds and
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
And along with that, to be able to get into the detail of everything that she or he has done, right? If there's a project that he or she has been involved in, do they know it to the last I, crossing the T and dotting the I's? Are they getting into that level of detail? So that are all elements that are going to be extremely important for their success.
Indeed. Dr. Sastry, would you like to share your opinion on successful engineers, defining successful engineers, and if the definition is different for academia and industry?
Sure, Seema. First of all, thank you for Chocko sir and Lakshmi for bringing out the definition, and especially when Chocko sir said the industry is looking for dynamic engineers with the technology platform integrated to their core engineering. I would like to extend the same statement with my view. I represent a very unique and specialized industry called AEC, Architecture, Engineering and Construction Industry, wherein we work on two predominant platforms, CAD and BIM. BIM represents building information modeling, wherein the construction staff, the designers, the execution staff, and the drafting staff staying at a different location across the globe can work together on a common platform connected to cloud computing. So if you recollect Chocko sir's recommendation on cloud computing and Industry 4.0, the upcoming engineers, the next 3 years, next 4 years, who are completing their college and trying to get into the industry, if they can integrate Industry 4.0 or IIoT or artificial intelligence kind of concepts into their core engineering subject, the ability of the student comes in, or we can identify the 100% able engineer in the industry if he can integrate his core engineering concepts with one of the technology platform which can add value to the output of any project. So when you understand the theoretical subject at the college classroom and learn a technology platform which can integrate into the core engineering, that will give a lot of value add for the industry. So students studying in college right now should understand what industry is looking at next 3 years, next 6 years, next 9 years, what industry is going to work on, and what kind of readiness is required for the fresh graduates who are coming into the industry. So that gives a lot of significance for learning the current batch of students who are in the college right now. So if you want to study for today, that is not sufficient. You have to learn for tomorrow. So what I can learn for tomorrow, what kind of technology is required for the industry in the next 5 years, 10 years, if that kind of plan is there for each student, he or she will get a lot of success in the industry going forward. So if you look at core engineering 10 years back, 20 years back, 30 years back, it has certain values in terms of theory and practical. But if you look at the next 10 years, next 20 years, what kind of technology is required for each engineering stream is the core value that we need to identify right now. And students should understand the importance of it. Specific to the AEC industry, if you want an example, the civil engineer or a structural engineer who has aspiration to get into this construction industry or design component, they should have some knowledge about how they can design AR, VR components for the construction. So the civil engineer with AR and VR knowledge combined together can bring in a lot of value add for the industry. Similarly, IoT, can I adopt IoT into my mechanical engineering? How can I produce a more robust technology platform using IoT for mechanical engineering? Is my ability in terms of providing value add to the industry. So students should start thinking in these lines. What kind of technology platform I can integrate into my subject to get ready for the industry next 10 years. So that should be the vision for every student. Thank you.
Sir, you have invariably answered my next question. Actually, I wanted to talk about core engineering, and I wanted to know if we are talking about it enough, because there are lots of other courses coming up, of course, and they are grabbing all attention, attraction. So, can a engineer opt for core engineering subject and still be as successful as others? I would like maybe Mr. Valliappa to answer this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that question, Seema. Like Lakshmi was talking about, like, what we need today is the willingness to learn. And how do you readapt? Because just to take Dr. Sastri's metaphor, what you learn today is not enough. You need to learn for tomorrow. But it's not just learning for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to change to the day after. So you need to know, how do we keep adapting? And probably a good example for this question, if I can just talk about my experience, because I'm basically a textile engineer. So, and what work I'm doing today has very little to do with textiles. So I so I was in the textile manufacturing for 10 plus years, but then moved into infrastructure and brought in several companies from the US. And today we are in healthcare and we are in construction, architectural engineering and construction, and we're designing fire trucks. So the work that we do is totally changed from what I learned. And so that's the willingness to keep learning. And more so today, like I have this thing that I came up with, which is being quoted everywhere, is that the world today doesn't need gardeners, it needs horticulturists. So that's the difference, in the sense that if you were just a mechanical engineer, it's not good, but how are you going to be a learning mechanical engineer or growing mechanical engineer, those kind of things. And engineering, core engineering basically gives you the understanding of how things work. So if you learn how things work and adapt it, then that's the future. Your future is sealed. So like if you take today, we are a part of Future Skills Prime, which is a NASCOM initiative on taking up new skills and new job roles and things like that. And so that's the basic thing. So if you have I think you alluded to earlier, so if you have the right aptitude, Lakshmi was alluding, the right aptitude, and the aptitude is for mechanical engineering, you should absolutely do mechanical engineering. And because if your aptitude is here and you do something else, you're going to be like a fish out of water, or not fit for that kind of role. And this we found very correctly through our X Prize learning, the 5 million X Prize that I was talking about, the competition. And we took a 1-year curriculum, we compressed it to 3 months, and the topper actually finished it in the month and a half, because that guy had the right skill set and the mindset tuned for that particular job. So that's what is required. And today, a lot of, it's earlier a mechanical engineer was a sterile mechanical engineer. But today, a mechanical engineer, if he learns Revit software or some of the products what Sastry was talking about, can get him into construction, building information modeling. And so that's a brand new skill. And earlier, if you were a electrical engineer, you might not have the ability to work in healthcare. And today, an electronics engineer has ability to work with healthcare. So just to give you an example, so Sona has collaborated along with the University Health Network in Toronto, and we are the only outside Canadian entity to be selected by them to partner. So we are talking about wearable technologies. This is the whole initiative. The next 5 years, we're going to be working directly with them on wearable technologies. So it's a convergence of healthcare, robotics, electrical, electronics, mechanics. A lot of it is involved right through that. So how do you bring people together and work towards it? And we are so excited that we would have thought wearable technology, India, where are we? But we had a global competition, and we were and the prize winners, the top 3 prize winners had people from our institution. And it's a global competition. So there is talent. How do we harness this talent for the future is what we need to look at. And so it's not, that's the ability of the diplomas. So you don't need to be just a core engineer, but you can be a core engineer and you sharpen yourself with the latest skill. So then you become more relevant. And because everybody is focusing to computer science or data science or IT, and after a time, like maybe right now the world is looking digital and things like that, and after a time a lot of people will start automating stuff, and when you automate stuff, some of these jobs become automated. And that's why having too many people, having so many pilots is a great job, but if you have too many pilots, the world is left behind, right? So in the sense that you need people to run bullet trains as well. So, and India is coming up with bullet trains also. So, and India is fast progressing. And India and the world today, where we are post-COVID, the world is looking at India from a manufacturing, as a super huge manufacturing base. So be it Apple iPhones being manufactured here, or the latest, lot of the latest cars and stuff like that. And the cars are the perfect example of advanced manufacturing coming in, right? The convergence of electrical and electronics. Tata probably is one of the largest electrical car manufacturers in the world today, with the number of electric cars coming in, right from Jaguar to the Tata Nixons and the other things in the world. And I think Madam Lakshmi represents Titan watches, and Titan makes the thinnest watch in the world. And you can't have a better company to make mechanical engineering sexy, so they do such a cool job with it. And we are happy that, when Titan had to make the digital, the thinnest watch in the world, and they were looking at how do they do have scientists help in that development. They randomly went ahead and found out that the correct environment was at Sona, and we were happy that the bottom of the Titan Edge watch, the nanotechnology, was actually built by some of our PhD students and PhDs at Sona. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that information. I know where my next watch is going to come from now. So, no conversation about education is complete nowadays without mentioning NEP. And of course, the 4th year, NEP speaks about the 4th year of engineering being in R&D. And I know for a fact that, of course, Sona research has been one of their fortes, and rocket motors have been designed, developed, and manufactured since the last 8 years, if I'm not wrong.
10 years now, yeah.
10 years. There you go. So we know the importance of research and development, but how does it translate into industry, and how does a successful engineer build that bridge? Ma'am, Lakshmi ma'am, if you could please answer this question, and probably after that, Dr. Sastry can share his thoughts.
For industry and academia to work together, right? They should see mutual value in the stuff that they do. So if I were to just take the Titan example of wearables, I just heard Mr. Valliappa talk about the work that he saw being done in wearables, right? Now we have set up a R&D center for wearables because we see that the future of the watch lies in being able to integrate a timekeeping device into a wearable device which can do many things, right? So we've actually set up a R&D lab. We acquired a company in Hyderabad some years ago, and we've just inaugurated the R&D lab a couple of weeks ago. So to be able to work with institutions, in developing products and ideas. So it's not just products, it's also ideas, right? It's also to see what the next product is going to even look like, right? Those are all things that I think is extremely critical for the success of any business in the marketplace, the competitive advantage. How quickly can you design and come out with a product that will be a completely new, that will have completely new features and will be a market differentiator. So if there is that sort of a link between academia and industry, that will really, really work well for us. Now, the organization I am the HR head for is the only B2B business of Titan, the engineering and automation. Of course, before this, like you said, I moved into this role last year. I was in the retail side of the business. Now, what we do here are two things. One is we manufacture components that go into airplanes, which is one division, which is the precision manufacturing part of it. The other division is the automation solutions division, where we actually go out, design, and build automation solutions for our customers. So, I can very proudly say this, that there isn't a single car or vehicle that runs on the Indian road today that doesn't have a part that's not been built on a Titan line. So we actually build lines for all your OE manufacturers of components that supply to automobiles. So here we need a lot of work where it's innovation at every stage. It's about mechanical design, it's about robotics, it's about building, it's about IoT, all of these things that we just spoke about, right? Each one of those things go into the machines that we're actually building. So if you're able to collaborate with an institution which is able to help us in this journey of innovation and R&D, we'll be the most successful organization that can be in this area. So for us, engineers, a successful engineer designs and builds those assembly lines. And to be able to actually build that successful engineer, it'll be a great thing if we can work along with institutions such as yours to be able to build this talent right from the start. I know it's a long answer, but there are so many things that we want to do, with academia right from the beginning. So I don't know where to begin. So these are all things that we as an organization really are choosing to do.
Dr. Sastry?
Yeah. Thanks to Chocko sir for bringing in the importance for innovation in engineering. Engineering is a stream where it has a lot of scope for innovation. The innovation is directly connected to the research. So if the students can adopt that research capability when studying in the college, that will give a lot of advantage for them when they enter into the industry. Say, for example, I will connect what Lakshmi ma'am said and Chocko sir explained about the automation and the technology platform in the industry. Recently, I met one of the senior person heading one of the top automobile manufacturing company in India. one of his recommendation for the upcoming students to the industry, he said next 20 years, automotive industry is going to work with IoT as the base platform. So mechanical engineering students, if they can understand the significance of IoT and what kind of role it is going to play in the industry next 20 years, they will see huge potential to be successful in the industry. Say, for example, connected vehicles, fleet management, how they can integrate their mechanical engineering concepts with IoT and showcase results or the solutions for automobile industry that will fetch a lot of opportunities for the upcoming students. So that innovation, that research should come in. A mechanical engineering student working on IoT and designing a solution for automotive industry during his college time. So that will give a lot of value for him in the market. Point number one. Point number two, similarly, an electrical engineer who is studying in a college right now, if he can understand what industry is looking for, say, for example, construction industry, there is a huge potential for electrical engineers in the construction industry who can design power layout or lighting layout. What kind of software tools are available in the industry to design the power layout? What kind of software is available or what kind of technology is available to design lighting load calculations? How can we automate this process? What time saving we can produce to the projects? If the students can learn all these concepts during the college time itself, there are huge potential for the engineering students in AEC industry and manufacturing industry. We all know how important IoT is in manufacturing industry for mechanical students. So it plays a very, very significant role in the manufacturing industry. We have various practical examples for that. Similarly, civil engineering and structural engineering students, there is a huge potential in the industry if they can come up with sustainable design concepts. The industry is looking at people who can work on sustainable designs. The next 20, 30 years, the sustainable design is going to play a very, very significant role in terms of building high performance buildings across the world. How can we design high performance buildings? What is energy efficiency? What software is available to design energy efficiency for a building? Say, for example, the student completing mechanical engineering or a civil engineering or electrical engineering coming into the industry in 2026, 2025. What kind of technology is required to design a high performance building? Say, for example, he or she is going to work on designing a high performance hospital in California with the 25 floors. What kind of technology is required? Do we need to adopt IoT? Do we need to adopt AR, VR, or do we need to adopt any technical platform specific to that domain? If students can innovate ideas on this and do research and learning technology platforms suitable to core engineering and adapt the advanced technical platform, definitely there will be a huge potential for those students to get long-term success in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think the questions have already started coming in on the YouTube comments. So I'd like to switch to that. And the very first question is from Bhavik MI. And they ask, my daughter is confused between new age subjects like AI and ML, aerospace engineering, and the more traditional subjects, which are mechanical engineering. So what should she choose?
I think you need to go with where the passion is, because like the old saying that if you do something that you love, you never go to work ever one day. And I mean, what was the first one? Was second one was aeronautics? The first one was
AI and ML.
Yeah. So AI, ML is and aerospace engineering is great. I mean, the opportunities today in every field, like, you think AI, ML, a lot of work will come out. Aerospace engineering, India, newer airlines are coming into India, and especially with our connect into smaller towns, a lot of more airports are coming in, and a lot of more aircrafts are because of that. That is there. But at the same time, core engineering, also traditional engineering subjects will also be good because of India's presence of where we are in terms of being the, I mean, probably the world needs a replacement to China in many ways, and is looking at it in a lot of things, be it the Quad between India, Japan, Australia, and the US, or be it other forms of engagement, or the eye-to-eye between Israel and India coming up. So these are all new geopolitical developments which will pivot India into being a huge manufacturing base. And so I think there are opportunities there everywhere, but what your passion lies in is follow that. And as long as, I mean, if you're a great mechanical engineer and you have the passion and apply to Titan watches and Lakshmi there, so I'm sure she would love to hire that, and like, you know, looking at aspiring engineers, for example. So.
Super.
I totally agree with you, sir, on that one. It's a great recommendation from your side for the students who are looking for more bright opportunities in the industry. As you rightly said, if they can integrate the technology platform into their core engineering, all streams will give heavy potential for placing in the market. Yes, sir. I totally agree with you on that.
The other question is also something that we have wondered time and again. When it comes to NEP, you know, how it allows the flexibility to students to drop out and they can get a certificate, a diploma at different stages. But does the industry still see them as dropouts, or does it actually see them as diploma holders or certificate holders? Probably, Lakshmi ma'am, if you could share your thoughts.
See, we still have a long way to go to be able to recognize some of these elements of education, because industry as a whole, including companies like ours, are actually picking colleges, ranking them, okay, ranking courses within that, etc., and rewarding the hires with a certain level compensation, etc., for that. Now, how are we going to evolve when this whole new way of education comes is not something any of us are very clear about. The reason being that we don't know what value students will be able to get out of non-traditional courses such as this. We don't know how they will use some of this to be able to better their skills, etc. So, with the effect that unless this thing gets taken up by institutions and we start seeing students and what they can bring to industry, it'll be very hard to actually say where we stand on this. Now, will I be able to offer a person who's done a short-term diploma course on mechanical engineering alongside somebody who's done a degree in, let's say, computer science, and reward both of these things? How are we going to place them equal to a full-time mechanical engineer is not something we've even thought about. Okay, so I guess we have some way to go, because we'll need to see how these things actually evolve, how organizations are actually are taking this up, how academia, how institutions are actually implementing this, how students are going to pick this up. So unless all of these things come together and we start seeing the result, it'll be very hard for me to comment.
Of course, makes sense. Dr. Sastry, what would be your thoughts on this?
I understand what Lakshmi madam said, and definitely I encourage the students to have the advanced concepts that are required for the specific industry. If they choose a specific industry, whatever course they complete, if they can adopt the required technical skill set specific to that industry, they can definitely fetch a better result for them in the market.
There is one of our viewers, I believe, from Odisha. They are curious about the scope in rocket motors, especially since Sona is into building rocket motors. So, Mr. Valliappa,
Yeah.
if you could please like to answer this.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I think it's more than rocket motors, maybe too specific. I think what you should probably look at is looking at an expertise in BLDC motors. BLDC motors, basically brushless, slotless DC motors, which is going to be found everywhere. So the heart of the electric car is a BLDC motor now, right? So it's the power. So, and if you take cars today, they're probably, I don't know, 100 or 200 different motors, because every seat adjustment today, when you want to move forward in modern cars, that's a BLDC motor. You want to move, tilt the seat back, that's a BLDC motor. So these are all huge opportunities coming up. So like this, you'll find several applications everywhere with BLDC type motors applications. So I think that should be the focus, and it's a huge opportunity. So
we have a placement officer from Tyagarajar Polytechnic College, Salem, and his question is, currently IT industry is hiring core engineering students in a vast manner. How are you looking into this? Please share your thoughts.
Can I take it?
Yeah, carry on, Sastry.
Yeah, sure. Seema, to answer his question, we all know the demand in the software industry, and as he rightly said, many IT/software companies are hiring the freshers from various domains. But my recommendation to the mechanical, electrical, civil students right now is there is a huge opportunity in the market. Say, for example, I will take mechanical engineering as an example. Oil and gas industry is a huge industry in India where it has a lot of potential for mechanical engineers. We have to identify how it is important and how we can approach that industry for each student in mechanical. Say, for example, we have to identify what is upstream, what is downstream, what is midstream in oil and gas industry, so that we can guide mechanical engineering students to choose oil and gas industry and get into the domain. Oil and gas industry is adopting AI and data science to resolve various technical challenges in upstream, midstream kind of challenges. So can we guide our students to choose the industry that they aim at when they get into the market during the college time itself? How efficiently we can guide those students? Definitely, software industry is very promising and they have many opportunities. Parallelly, if we can guide the students to select that specific industry, they can excel in their career in various industries, not only in software industry, in all industries. So the right platform selection and targeting the exact industry during the college time itself will fetch more results for them in the market.
Understood. Again, there can be no webinar without there being a pandemic related question. So I think that will be our last question for this evening. So has the pandemic affected the average salary offered to the freshers? Asks Asim Ahmed.
See, it's I'll answer this because it's an HR question. Okay. So the average salaries have not changed, because the term average itself, it's actually widespreading, right? So what companies have started doing is to be have become more specific when it comes to hiring. We see what has happened in the pandemic from an industry standpoint. I'm telling you, what unfortunately the pandemic did for students is those 2 years, students have not been able to get the benefit of the practical education that colleges were able to give them during their engineering course. And we see that in my interviews, in many of the things that, when many of the conversations that we actually have. So no company there has actually reduced compensation because of this, right? We actually believe in the ability of our young people to be able to pick up when given this opportunity. So I would recommend students to actually, like Dr. Sastry said, pick the industry, be more, make more meaningful, mindful choices when it comes to picking organizations, and not just go by the compensation number, right? Which is probably where this question is coming from. So I think making a mindful choice in terms of what she wants to do with her life and career is extremely important. And then, identify organizations where her career aspirations will be met, and try and see if organizations such as that are coming to their college for recruitment. So I would strongly urge students to do far more research on the kind of industry and the organizations that they want to choose when they're looking at building their careers.
Thank you, ma'am.
If I could add to that, Seema. So, like what's the pandemic has done is probably helped the next generation of students coming in a much bigger way than you could have ever imagined. Because what is done is it's allowed the geek economy. So, and the geek economy is like you can sit wherever you are and then do whatever work for whichever part of the world. And that is announced to the world now. So the world is looking at wherever talent is. So, and earlier the talent, we were forced to look into our own backyards, in the sense, if we were operating in Chennai or Salem or Bangalore, we were operating looking for talent there. But today, a talent sitting in a remote area in, say, Orissa, where the question came from, or it could be in Northeast or wherever. Industry is able to come in and reach out and pull the talent from there. So, and that is what the Hire Me model is all about. The Hire Me model is to find diamonds, because there are hidden diamonds and gems around the world and around India, where we've never discovered them. Like, St. Joseph's College, Tiruchi. How many college companies are going and recruiting from St. Joseph's College, Tiruchi? Why I'm specifically asking that is that's the college Abdul Kalam graduated. So, and if you didn't go to that college, you probably have missed India's best president. So, that just goes to show that, industry needs to wake up and then go to where talent is. And that's what Hire Me is trying to do, is to give free assessments for students around to take the examination and do that. And then looking as raw salaries post-COVID and before COVID and after COVID, there has been an increase of salaries of about 30% post-COVID across the field, in all fields. So industry has been paying more for talent. And I think as we go forward, you will see a steeper increase of that. But what is going to happen is that there will be a level playing field soon, where talent will show in a bigger way. So I think somewhere we alluded to in this conversation that earlier there used to be benchmark in pricing for, say, a mechanical, electrical, or IT engineer coming out. The same batch will get the same price. But today we are seeing a huge difference in like one person getting 20 lakhs, one person getting 10 lakhs, one person getting 3 lakhs, or 5 lakhs in the same school, the same batch, same curriculum. So that goes to show that if a student is able to apply and apply his or her knowledge and learn more and be more adaptive, and be receptive to industry is ready to pay that salary. So that's how we've got a 20 lakh package today and a 5 lakh package in the same class. And another huge aspect is learning the softer skills. We've been speaking so much on, with the core engineering, non-core, or something like that. But just if you add the secret sauce of Japanese, for example, then it gets the students to, if a same student earning 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs in India is able to learn Japanese, they're able to get 21, 22, 28 lakhs in Japan. So there is a huge opportunity available like that. So we are German and French relevant to the world wherever you are. wherever the opportunities are, and the opportunities are huge. And I hope I've answered the question there. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope, Asim Ahmed, that answers your question. And thank you for that trivia. I did not know that about Dr. Kalam, certainly. Just quickly, if I could ask all three of you to give us your closing remarks, and just if you could, if Dr. Sastry could perhaps go first.
Sure. First of all, thank you to Chocko sir and Lakshmi ma'am for taking out time and sharing their recommendation for the students. And my recommendation for the students who are the coming into the industry in the next several years, core engineering plus a suitable technology platform should be their success mantra, so that they get a lot of bright opportunities in the industry and long-term success. So please make sure that every student gets the opportunity in the college to go through the core engineering concepts and a suitable technology platform associated to it for a long-term success. I wish you all the best for all the students, and thank you, Seema, for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Lakshmi ma'am?
So I think with all this rhetoric on Make in India and all of that, we're seeing a lot of activity in the manufacturing field, and manufacturing means core engineering. So I would urge students to actually develop their skills in core engineering while they're in college. And the careers out there, the opportunities out there are phenomenal. So go and equip yourself with the skills that the industry of tomorrow needs. And there will be no dearth of opportunities for you. All the best to all of you.
Thank you. Mr. Valliappa, the last word, perhaps.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just headed for a meeting, so I'm in the car. But like rightly put by both the panelists, I think the opportunities are huge, and like what Lakshmi was talking about, like Make in India is a huge initiative. The defense corridor, which is happening, is also a huge initiative, huge opportunities coming up. Localization of defense, those kind of things. In any industry that you look at, the opportunities are huge, and especially where we are today, with many things coming to the students which were not available earlier, be it manufacturing, be it IT, be it technology, be it entrepreneurship. I mean, there's never been so much money chasing students coming out to start companies. And I think the startup ecosystem, the startup world has opened up this huge opportunity, be it the MSME incubator we have, or the IIT incubator, or general for any students anywhere. There's a lot of, there are ideas, students with ideas, and that's what India needs. I mean, we are 75 years through independence, and we are happy that we put in India's largest flag. And the whole idea was conceived by us, but implemented by the students. We put a huge 75 feet flag flying over the entire building. And so these are initiatives which is available today for students to take up opportunities and become entrepreneurs. So because the number of people graduating from India is going higher and higher, right? And we need 1 million jobs every month. So there are only so many that companies can absorb today. So what we need is people, students graduating to become entrepreneurs themselves, so that each of them can take 1 or 5 or 10 or 15 and start up companies. So then it will succeed for India. So we need to build that entrepreneurial mindset, which we have now started doing through some of the initiatives here. But I think it's a long way to go as well. So I hope some of the students here who are listening today, and parents who are listening, will take the opportunity, and then perhaps I might, even if we can see a few entrepreneurs coming out of this, it will be great the benefits for India and everyone here as well. And wishing everyone a bright future the future is bright. I mean, the sun is shining right behind me. I don't know if you noticed. So, so we are in for a bright future. But how do we grab the opportunity is the key. Because we shouldn't let the opportunity pass. We should grab the opportunity, whether it's a job, whatever it is. And the future is exciting. So, thank you.
I honestly can't think of a better way to end this. The sun is shining and we need to make hay while the sun shines. So thank you, Dr. Sastry, for your insights. Thank you, Lakshmi ma'am, for joining us despite being unwell and being slightly under the weather. Thank you, Mr. Valliappa, for being on the go and still being with us. So thank you very much, our viewers, for your questions, and I hope all of this helped. So thank you very much and have a great day ahead.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sastry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.